Hi, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris. The opinions of the person on the call and our guests and the chatters and everyone are that of their own and not that of Targeted West or DJ Chris. This is show number 138, believe it or not. It's the 10th of November 2024. It's our Sunday call. It's Veterans Day weekend, so shout out to any veterans that are TIs out there. And we have a guest tonight, and the guest tonight is Daniel. He is a therapist. He's got 2 master's degrees. He is also a social worker and offers TIs the ability to call him and get therapy. He offers an introductory session, of course, and he's here with us right now to talk about it. So hello, Daniel. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. How are you? How's it going?
We're doing good here at Targeted West. The cats are good. Everybody's good. Granny's good. We're good to go.
Okay, well, thank you for having me again. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and it's so nice to obviously be able to be on this call and be with you all right now. Obviously honored. So thank you for having me again. And I have 2 master's degrees. I got my license probably about 7 months ago now, and I also, I'm just kind of currently doing doing lots of different things. Just made a website, so just trying to be out there for people and help them out. And obviously, my main goal is, I guess, to make sure that people are able to handle what they're going through. So, that's why I'm here.
Great, that's super. The TI community needs that. The whole world needs you, and people that seek you for guidance need you. So this is good that you're offering this, and congratulations on the approval process. So what made you decide to become a therapist? Did you have any personal experiences before, or was it something you've always pursued, or what made you make that choice?
Well, I guess I pretty much just wanted to, help people, because I had pretty much someone, unfortunately, that I knew died. I won't say how they died, just because I don't want to put that in the air, but they ended up dying, and I felt kind of like I could have done something. So in some ways, I just was like, I have to do something about it. So I decided to try and pursue that. And I tried the first time, and I guess it took the wrong direction. I am sure I've said this on the call before, but I went to NYU for psychology or whatever, and I kind of went at the wrong time. I went, during when things are really bad, back in 2019, 2020, and I realized that wasn't going to cut it. So I got my second master's degree in social work, and I actually was targeted at the time. So, it was pretty difficult, but I was able to do it. And I think I just wanted to kind of help people survive. Pretty much, it's pretty much been how I've been since day one, pretty much.
So not only were you targeted, but you had to go to school at the same time, which is what I experienced back when I went to school in 2003. So I know what you went through.
It was pretty weird, honestly. I didn't really always know what was going on. I found out that I was going through this in probably 2021. So I didn't really know what to. I had no way of. It was just such a surprise to me, honestly. But I ended up making my way through it or whatever, and luckily I'm here right now, able to talk to you. I'm grateful for every day. It's hard, so I try and hang in there.
Good, and you have a call when? It's every Wednesday, and you go to targeted or TIevents.org, of course, to get to your call. And what time is that? It's 4 p.m. East West Coast time, right?
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. East Coast time, 4 p.m. West Coast time. So Yeah, and I really should learn it. There's like, but yeah, I am. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. I might end up changing it to like 8 o'clock Eastern to make it easier for everyone. I didn't want to at first, but you know, it seems like it might be a good change. But yeah, it's right now at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it's a call about gratitude and pretty much science. So it's I mean, it's also pretty much about survival as well. It's about how to use science to survive, and it's about pretty much training you to get through the hardest of times, so you can like obviously uh, handle pretty much anything. So
Yeah, so the listeners on the recording and the people listening on the call right now know you're also a person that gets involved with tech and technical stuff and have helped create some technical uh, situations that help people out in the community. So not only are you doing the social work and the reaching out, but you're
yeah,
doing that too. Tell us more about that.
thank you. Well, I mean, I kind of created some of the modes for the Cyber Shield. I'm sure some of you know about the Cyber Shield. I created like I think the quad heterodyne mode, which is this thing that it pretty much sends out a signal, a very special type of signal, and then I also have the, like the DLPSC mode and other things, which are just it's a brain region, but yeah, I'm somewhat inclined technically. So I was glad to help out with that, and I have a few other projects in the works. Some stuff that I mean I would obviously love to help people with in that area or that venue, but yeah, I do have some technical I guess you could say whatever things that I've done that I like to kind of like help people with, and um, I'm a big supporter of I guess interventions. I I just think people really need to if they can use technology to heal them if it's possible. Don't underestimate it, and don't give up on it. Sometimes, I mean, I think people like if you give up too early, it's not gonna work because it. I mean, one thing I will say, I don't usually like to share too much about this, but I mean, I have this thing about sharing my neurology knowledge. I don't know why, but um, the brain takes a while to change. So give things time. Don't give up in like 5 seconds. Uh, it's important to go for at least I would say 1 day to a week on something before you give up. And I mean the criteria should be if other people have used it and it worked for them, I would keep trying it. But yeah, I like technology. I try to help out and anything I can do to help really.
That's great. I know they're using magnets to magnetize people in their cranial areas to get rid of depression. That's one technology. There's all sorts of other ways you could probably help people, especially with interactive programs on the computer. Um, but nothing beats one-on-one talk therapy. So you, as I've heard on your call, offer people a chance to talk to you and discuss their issues with you. And do you have a phone number to offer right now so people that are listening to the recording would also be able to get a hold of you too? And what is your website? I heard you have a new website. So not only are you working on the Cyber Shield, but you're a webmaster. Tell us about uh, all your contact information, please, early on in the recording so they can write it down. And anybody that's listening to the call right now, write this down.
Sure. My phone number is 917-579 5036, and my website is thecoverthealer.com. The sorry, oh yeah, there it is. That's it. Yeah, that's my phone number and that's my website. So thecoverthealer.com. It's not working too well on the phone right now, unfortunately. There's a little bit of a problem between. I don't know what happened, but there's some mistakes on the phone if you look at it. But yeah, I have a website now, and oh, by the way, the artwork on the website I made myself. So you'll see like a picture at the top and like 3 other pictures. I made all of those. So if anyone is curious, I do art sometimes. So
Oh,
like
you're
3D
also an
art.
artist? You do art on as for part of your therapy. That's great.
Yeah, but it's like 3D art. It's I'm not good at. I don't really know too much about. I mean, I struggle with other things, but I like 3D. I went to art school, so you know, but yeah, uh I mean, yeah, I'm happy to help anyone, and if you want to, at the bottom there's a contact me section that will work, and you'll be able to reach me through that. Yeah, if you want to try and get in touch with me, it's I would be eager to talk to you and help out. I'm a counselor and again, a licensed social worker and a therapist, so whatever I can do to help you, I'm here.
That's great. If someone had a court case and you were talking to them as a client, would you be able to write a letter on their behalf to the courts to help
Um,
them in a case of targeting, of course?
Sure. I mean, I don't mind doing that. I mean, the only thing is, it depends. I might be based on state, so I would have to transfer my license to that state. But yeah, I would definitely be willing to do that, especially if I can talk to them and get to know them.
Yeah, that's good. Um, and of course, how long is your call? You go for an hour and a half on Wednesdays. Again, if you want to talk to Daniel in person on the live call, you can do that too every Wednesday. And of course, you're going to change the time. We can change the graphic for you, so that's not a problem. Just
Yeah.
let me know. And what else can you tell us about what you can do to help us? That's what we need the most right now. It's a lot of
Sure.
healing, and we need healing in the community.
Sure. Well, I recommend them obviously the fact that if you can find an intervention to do that's simple, like I do gratitude out loud when I'm really bothered. Um, so that can be huge. I mean, other things is I mean, I'm still developing some things right now, so some things are on the way that may help out more. But right now, I definitely recommend gratitude practices. So I'll give an example. Like if if you're able to say something like you know, just pretty much recognizing some of the good things in your that have happened to you. Like I know it's hard, but if you can say that you appreciate the food that you ate or something, or are grateful for the food that you ate, and describe something good about it, that can make a huge difference. Or I mean, being thankful for anything like your car, if you have a car, or no matter what you have, just appreciating it. That makes a huge difference, and it's also like it's not something that they're really probably hopefully they won't mess with, because I mean I don't think they're I hope that you're able to find you can like obviously if you're able to do that, that would be really useful. So that's very valuable, and other things as well. I mean, unfortunately, and this is I hope this is okay to share, but a lot of the stuff that feels physical is mental. So if you can recognize that as well, like no matter what's happening to parts of your body, they're more than likely it's not that simple, and that can be in some ways like not a bad thing to realize, because more than likely again it's not about death, it's about the brain. So if you can realize that as well, you're probably not going to. I mean, it always feels like it when you're targeted, but it's not about killing you. It's important.
So, kind of psychosomatic, per se.
Well, I mean, psychosomatic is one thing, but it's actually in some ways way more complicated than anything that's in the normal literature. I'll say that. Psychosomatic is actually a pretty well-known condition, and it has in some ways, these things have like signals or markers in the brain. This, unfortunately, is like in some ways can be much larger than that marker, if that makes sense. So that's why it can feel so strange. But it's unfortunately not. It's not about not unfortunately, it's not about death. It's not about hurting you to kill you. So if you're getting targeted, I apologize. But just know that no matter what's happening in your throat or your body, I promise you, you're physiologically probably fine.
Yeah, well, I've been watching Kevin Shep. He's got a new book coming out. We're going to get for the book club, and a lot of it's pushing you to thinking that you're going to die by making you anxious, scared, fearful, which makes you easy to control. That's what they do at the CIA, even to their own. So, and most of this is CIA oriented, the torture and the interrogations and the V2K that talks to you. So do you help people with V2K at all and help them handle the voices and how to deal with it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I actually, that's something I really want to get into and work on ways to make it a little bit easier to manage. Specifically, like help people understand it. I might try and work on an entirely new therapy for V2K that I would develop myself. Meaning it wouldn't be like CBT or DBT or any of the other well-known therapies, but it would be like, I guess a therapy for those kind of voices. And I would just have to think about how to put the material in so it would be safe for me. I kind of did a lot of research on the brain, and I found out a lot about how this stuff probably works. So I'm hoping to develop a therapy that can, in some ways stop the pain and also, make it so people live longer through this. And that's definitely a goal of mine. And yeah, I mean, but I do have therapies that I do already. I can do CBT with, CBT.
That's cognitive behavioral therapy, right?
And acceptance and commitment therapy can be valuable as well. And if you're able to meditate, I highly recommend it. I mean, you'll see a lot of good stuff about meditation. But if you're able to, and again, it's hard sometimes, I know, but if you're able to kind of like meditate somehow, that can be very useful. But yeah, I can definitely help people with V2K. I actually, without saying anything about it, I've spoken to people about it, and I think they just want to talk about it. They want to be able to, they want people to hear, hear things about them and that are like really difficult to hear. So that's something I can do because I've been through a lot of stuff, and it makes it easier to obviously be a part of their healing if I know something about it.
Got you. And your website again is thecoverthealer.com. That's great. Very easy to remember. And you can be contacted there if anyone on the recording watching it wants to contact you, they can. That's great. And how did you find the TI community? Did you find us on a search or meet someone or?
Oh, it was a crazy story. You know what it's like when it starts out and you just feel like you're just trying to find facts and clues. And I pretty much did all this stuff. I went to I just went everywhere. I went to people that were psychics or whatever. I tried that. And I ended up finding this one lady who was, she believed in like all that stuff, but she was also, she heard voices in her head before, whatever, and was targeted a little bit. And she pretty much just told me like, whatever is going on in your head, that could be V2K or, so I ended up looking up whatever that was, and I found, I actually found the FACTS website, believe it or not, and I called someone on it. And, they were like talking to me or whatever, and they pretty much were like, do you ever get stuff stolen from you? And I was like, I think I said yes, a little bit fuzzy, but then she pretty much was like, yeah, you're probably targeted. So, but then I did more and more research on it, and I realized a lot of the stuff they were doing was pretty much what you would consider gaslighting. And once I figured that out, I was able to survive from that point on. And then, I went the route of trying different technological interventions, and I was already into the brain, so I used that to try and also hang on. And I guess I'm here right now. So, but yeah, I found the targeted community luckily through Derek's website.
Incredible that you met us and found us, because we can sure use you. And do you work on weekends, or are you pretty much 7 days a week if it's an emergency and someone needs to talk to you right away?
Yeah. I guess I'm pretty much here 7 days a week if you guys need me. I just again, I'm here to help. So, if there's a crisis going on and you need help, let me know. I'll try and help you. again, if it's an emergency, I'm always free. But you know, if you know, for normal counseling, the first session is free, and then you can on the website. Obviously, there's things there about it. But yeah, I've kind of learned this is not a normal situation, and you know, I've talked to people who are always like, it's always a thing that they're like their phone is always on. So yeah, I'm the same, 7 days a week, pretty much.
Gotcha. Great. That's good news. Anything else you'd like to talk about before we go to commercial in a few minutes?
I would just like to say that, you know, thank you for having me, and you know, I'm really grateful to be able to be here, and you know, it's obviously, I know how hard it is for everyone going through this and how difficult it can be. So yeah, I just you know, just try and find one or two like something you can use to make a difference in your life per day. And you know, like they don't mind a little bit of a challenge, I'm sure. Don't worry about them hurting you. I mean, if you can find something simple to do that's going to help you feel better. Obviously, this is a weird system. It's kind of a program that seems to be based on, unfortunately, goals. So if one of their goals is based on like doing something bad to you, I mean, if you can find a way to survive, hopefully it's part of their system that you can survive and be happy a little bit. So yeah, I challenge you to kind of like go that route, and you know, hopefully yeah, there can be some adaptation there. So
Great. That's super duper to know. Let's see, what else was I going to ask you? Now, you have a show coming up this Wednesday, and you're going to have Frank S. on from Targeted Tech Talk. Is that true? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, I specifically want to talk about on that call. So I'm thinking about talking about what's called, well, in that, sorry, I have so many things going on in my head that are, anyway, you know, sometimes when you're going through something hard, there's, back in the day when people used to have, like, when things used to be a little more normal, there was this process of, like, pretty much finding ways to get around things or be productive. And it was called accommodation. And normally, you know, these days there's all this talk about neuroplasticity, and that's pretty much the brain changing to what's going on. But if you're going through a hard situation, you kind of want to use anything in your, like, pretty much like get through it somehow. So if you're able to, and Frank is going to talk about this, like if like how AI can pretty much help you do things when you're like really, really going through tough times. So I'm trying to like pretty much just make it so, you know, people in the community, if they're struggling, you know, they can try things that Frank recommends with technology.
That's great. That's super duper to hear. I know Frank, TargetedTechTalk.com is Frank S.'s site. We've had him on the call here, and we're grateful to have you, Daniel. It was a blessing to hear that you were coming on. I've heard great things about you from Jax, and this is just great to have you with us. I know I was listening in on your call the other day, and there's actually a lot of people I related with who are recovering addicts and alcoholics, and I was surprised how well you handled that. Is that also a topic you discussed with people? As something that you said to do, whatever you call it, intervention? Is that part of the intervention, is to get people off of drugs and alcohol and such?
Yeah. I mean, well, there is, you know, lots of different things about that, but yeah, I have experience with that. You know, I have worked a lot of, you know, with addicts before, and yeah, and also I just, you know, it's part of my training, I guess. I mean, I've been trained in like group therapy and stuff, so, yeah, and believe me, I've heard horrible things, like way worse than anything you can imagine on, like, I mean, you know, you can all imagine really bad things, but in terms of like when I pretty much worked at a homeless shelter at one point, and some of you may be homeless or not, or like some of you, I'm sure there's a spectrum of people, but I mean, I've heard really horrible stories, and without, you know, I'm just trying to be careful here because hopefully you all are safe right now and have homes and are warm, but whatever you're going through, yeah, I've seen everything, and or a lot of it, and you know, I just really want people to be happy and healthy. So, and I'm grateful that I was able to hear those stories. I mean, every day when you're going through this is so difficult. So anything I can do to help is pretty much all I want.
That's incredible. Yeah, when I was going through my first part of sobriety, I had the AA program to go to, and they said don't go to rehab. And it's just a waste of money. They only do 12 steps, and they were right. That's what everybody told me. But what got me sober was finding a therapist that I could talk to about why I was getting high back then. And it was because of a lot of unresolved childhood issues. So, that's why I always believe that there's really something needs to be resolved through therapy in any case of drug abuse or alcohol abuse. It's my experience, because I also had a relationship with someone who was the chairperson of the AA program locally. So I used to sit and listen all night to people talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend it. Don't give up if you're going through it. And I've learned many things about dealing with issues and substances. And but yeah, I highly recommend all those programs. They're very valuable. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of research that shows that if you're talking to someone, obviously that's trained in any modality, it actually can help you. And there's, so I highly recommend talking to someone. And obviously, if you are struggling with addiction, I'm here for you. Don't worry. If you want to call me, I'm there.
Yes, and we'll get your number one more time at the end of the recording. Of course, we'll go ahead and play a quick commercial, and we'll be right back, if you don't mind. And it's someone familiar that you know because you mentioned it in your interview. It's
Yes.
the people from CyberShield, so check out the new commercial for them. Here we go.
This is CyberShieldInfo.com. We manufacture a shielding device that protects the body and head from harmful ionizing electromagnetic frequencies. This is the most powerful high-tech shielding device made specifically for targeted individuals who are assaulted with harmful radiation and pain. Do you want to feel better? We also offer complimentary in-person demonstrations in the San Francisco Bay Area. For photos, pricing, and more details, visit CyberShieldInfo.com.
And there we go. Thank you, Daniel, for your patience. That's CyberShieldInfo.com, and TargetedWest, of course, helped create that website. So it's good to go. Frank S., I think, finished it, so it's up and running. And then, of course, Daniel has his new website, which is New Covert. What was it again?
Oh, the coverthealer.com.
Healer.com, yes. Okay. Anything else you'd like to talk about, Daniel?
Well, I just want to say that, I mean, I guess, yeah, I really don't want to talk about, but, if you are struggling, I was actually thinking about this earlier, and it's whatever, it was in my head, and, I just wanted to share this with you all. I kind of have this rule about sharing my pain with 3 people, and then just stopping there. It's just something that I kind of follow, and it just seems to help me. So, I'll talk to people about what I'm going through, like the targeting, and then I won't really spread it past that point. Obviously, that doesn't mean you guys. If you know someone else is targeted, then I guess share, but, try and find it's always nice to find a small group of people to share with, but, other than that, I mean, I kind of try to not, I just stop there. And, I mean, there is some research that kind of pointed to why I stopped the way I did. I mean, I'm sure some of you are familiar with a lot of podcasts, but I listened to a doctor named Andrew Huberman who, anyway, before he got in trouble for all that stuff, and, it was kind of weird anyway that he got in trouble for what happened, but he talked about this part of the brain and in the pathway to the prefrontal cortex. And what he pretty much stated in very simple terms was that your habits change your brain, and they build these pathways that pretty much turn into habits. So, if you start if you keep doing one habit, it'll kind of turn into this learned behavior. And I kind of, even back then, I was like, if I start talking to everyone about it, it's going to turn into something like that's always going to stay there. So I literally just decided not to. I mean, that was my kind of like what I ended up doing, and I think it's not a bad idea to kind of limit some of the like if you're really going through a hard thing, maybe pick a therapist as one person to talk to about it. Maybe a friend who's willing to talk to you about it. Or maybe you guys can even share your stories carefully, obviously, because and then maybe one family member. And I mean I think that's a good point and a good rule, and that's what I follow.
That's what I do, and it works for me.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's something that I do, and I again just don't give up. It's very very rare what we're all going through, but keep trying. And if you can remember to drink water every day a little more, do that. But yeah, that's something I definitely recommend.
Very cool. Would you like to take some questions from the audience? We have 87 people here tonight.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone want to ask a question? Sure.
Okay. All right. If anybody has questions for therapist Daniel, now's the time. Try to make it brief and be aware that other people are on the call and are going to want to talk also, and ask questions. So here we go. Well, okay. If you want to ask Daniel a question about therapy stuff, I sound so professional, about anything in regards to therapy, now's the time. Go ahead and come on onto the microphone. Hello. It's DJ Chris and Targeted West with Daniel. *6 to speak.
Chris?
Yes, hello.
Hi. I have a question. I have an app that monitors radiation levels, and I got back on it recently, and the levels are like 3 times above normal. So it's like around over 150 microtesla. I think that's what it's called. Anyway.
Yeah.
Are there any foods that you can recommend to counter this? Or anything, anything?
I actually one time, and I don't really tell this people, one time they got so mad at me, I think they hit me with like 1,300 microtesla or something ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I'm not even kidding. For almost a few months, maybe half a year, they were hitting me with over 300, maybe up to 500. I don't remember. It was ridiculous. I can't even, it was absurd levels. But I mean, I definitely recommend a high fat, high protein, pretty much low carb diet if you're willing to try that. That can help. But in terms of radiation, I don't. That's kind of hard to say. I mean, it's probably not ionizing radiation. I don't think they use ionizing, so your body's probably fine. But I would just say, I would just say, yeah, eat healthy. Obviously, more vegetables can help, and I've heard vegan can be good for radiation before, but yeah, I guess I would say anything that can heal your brain, anything that helps with, obviously there's a thing in your brain called mitochondria, they have a lot to do with energy. So I guess eating more keto would be a good idea. And that's, again, the high fat, high protein, low carb diet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question in line for Daniel. Come on in. You're on the Targeted West show. Don't be shy. Daniel's ready to take your call right now. You don't have to give all your personal details. Hello.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Is this Jen?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on in.
Okay, I knew a lady that was fighting cancer in St. Louis, and she mentioned that if you've been radiated a long time, that coffee enemas were good. Do you know anything about that? Coffee enemas.
Wait, say that. Did you say coffee and lemon? I actually in the last word you said for some reason you sound low to me. I don't know. Does anyone else? Can you hear DJ Chris? What did she say?
She said coffee enemas would help.
Oh, I mean, I think for cancer, she said cancer, right? I was just having trouble hearing her. I really think that I don't know. I think just pretty much avoiding carcinogens is probably a good idea. That's you want to be careful with a lot of things, like anything. If you pretty much even like anything carcinogenic, I would avoid. So she can look that up. Coffee can really help, but that actually changes the blood flow in you, sort of. So it can also help with energy and stress, and that probably helps with cancer. If you, if obviously if you're less stressed, it's going to help you. Your body will react. There's lots of reasons why, but yeah, I highly recommend. Obviously anything to deal with stress, and that's obviously a great idea. So yeah, but I think in terms of like, oh wow, I'm thinking about this for a long time, and it just popped in my head. There was this book called The China Study, and they talk about how eating vegetarian or vegan can really help deal with cancer. So I highly recommend it. And if they're eating meat, I recommend switching to chicken, not burning it, and pretty much again, the keto diet might help as well. I can actually look that up and let you guys know after. But yeah, the keto diet might also help with cancer. But I recommend just, anyway, anything you can do to help, any sort of changes in diet, organic can help a lot, organic foods, because obviously.
Yeah, I've been vegetarian for a long time, but my targeting is so extreme.
Yeah.
I've been tortured every night for like four nights, and I'm very weak. I'm disoriented, and I can barely walk. I'm dizzy, and so my system is in shock.
Yeah,
my nervous system is in shock, and
yeah, well,
I don't get to sleep at all. I mean, I can barely get things done. And I try so hard to get things done.
Yeah.
And
well,
I take supplements, and I'm still getting hit so badly. And I'm going to get a scan. And since I signed up for this, I've been just plowed, and I haven't gone to the ER for that because I know what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm barely going to get out of here to the airport. And
I hear you. Well, I want to let you guys know, and it's kind of like, unfortunately, it's whatever they do and how you feel isn't always a reflection of what you can do. So it just sucks. But I had to learn the hard way. But and yeah, I would just, I would keep trying no matter how you feel, and you can definitely do it. But yeah, as far as that whole like keeping you up at night thing, I'm so sorry. I think.
Well, I feel oxygen is very beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
I get hit in the shower, in the bathtub. These people are insane here. And anyway, I'm hoping that that I can eventually find an attorney because,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
We have an attorney we're working with right now. We may be able to help you with that, but he's in Sacramento.
Yeah, that's exciting, but I don't know how that would work. I'm in Missouri, and
Yeah.
Jennifer?
yeah.
The late great Hulda Clark recommends those coffee enemas in all of her books. You can find her books at the library.
Right. Okay, well, I've been radiated severely a very long time. I've got a lot of biological damage, and it's really scary, and I'm just kind of falling fast. So I'll be in touch with you, Chris, about that, and I'm just trying my best, and walks and oxygen. But when you can hardly walk, it gets a little ridiculous. So, but I'm trying to hang in there.
Thank you for that, Jen. Next person in line to ask Daniel a question. He is a therapist, and he's with us here at Targeted West.
Yes, I have two questions. One is a while ago you said you were developing something that would help with vision and eyes, and I wondered if you were doing that or had done more of that. And the other thing is, on your website, I see you have two price structures, but it looks like for the proprietary energy techniques, you list your rates as $300 for a half hour and $600 for an hour. And is that accurate?
I'm not actually going to. I just put that there like today. I'm not actually sure I'm going to charge yet. But yeah, I have this therapy that I developed that they kind of, believe it or not, scared me out of talking about, but you brought it up, so I guess I'll talk about it for a second. I have a therapy that may be able to help with behavior issues, behavioral attacks that I do have, and I didn't really know to put for the price, because I really thought about it. So I put that number down, but that's not the real number. But yeah, I in terms of the vision thing, I'm trying to develop this sort of portable unit that has these coils, and you would put these coils on these points that I would give you, and it would help with vision by pretty much activating the nerves in that area or making it hard for them to block the nerves in that area. So I would have pretty much a booklet that came with it, and actually trying to work on it and get it done in a month so I can have this little device. But yeah, I'm working on that. And with the proprietary therapy, other people have used it in the community, and it does seem to help them. It's kind of like a video-based therapy, and I guess it would theoretically come with my therapy if you guys were interested. Yeah, I'm working on it. It's still not done yet, but the visual device would be really cool because you would theoretically be able to, I'd probably have it come with glasses, so you could attach wear these glasses and it would have these coils on it, and it would improve your vision when you're wearing them.
So for the vision, would this be a device you'd sell, or would it be something that you'd have to come in person to have sessions? And also the points. Are the points related to acupuncture points? Because there are acupuncture points that really help with vision.
Well, unfortunately, no. This is a little bit different. So your cells and your eyes react to frequencies, so you can't really poke your eye. There's different frequencies that activate different parts of the eye, like photoreceptors. Each receptor responds to different frequencies. So 50 hertz can impact certain parts of the eye, 100 hertz another part of the eye, 5 hertz another part of the eye. Like all these different cells in your eye respond to different frequencies. So no, I would it would be different, completely different.
Okay, and is it something you'll sell, or would someone have to come in person for it?
I would sell it. I'm kind of waiting for approval to make it. But yeah, I actually have the design done already. It looks like a lunchbox, and you would like carry it around, and it would have like a web inside of it to make sure the parts didn't fall out. Again, it would have these coils, and you could attach them to these glasses that I kind of am working on, and maybe actually some sort of bands that you would be able to put on you, and they would then you would attach the coils. And yeah, the only thing is I'd have to make it very clear you can't use it on your actual brain because it you don't want that kind of horsepower going into your head. But you know, it would definitely be helpful.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question. Next question in line for Daniel. Come on in.
Hi, Chris. It's Laura.
Hello, Laura. Come on in for Daniel.
For those of us that aren't tech savvy, is this like a Rife machine that you're talking about, or something that
well,
frequencies or beams frequencies?
I'm actually waiting for approval from the creator of the Cyber Shield to really make this device. So it's actually a different type of pretty much energy amplifier like the Cyber Shield. I still haven't gotten approval yet, so I'm waiting for him to say it's okay for me to make it. But it would pretty much just be like a portable version of that device that would have these accessories that you could use. And I actually developed the glasses already, sort of. I tried them the other night and they worked pretty well. But I'm waiting for David Rubel to honestly be like, hey, it's okay. But, you know, it's pretty much, again, like a mini cycle that would look like a lunchbox, but it's really not for, it would have a different purpose. It's for the nerves and pretty much the eyes. But you could theoretically use it on a, you know, if you're traveling with other antennas to help you, but its main purpose is for the body. And specifically, a lot of people have leg issues. This would be one way of dealing with leg issues. And I'm sure some people on the call who know about the Cyber Shield, I mean, it would help with that because I found that if you put this cells on the nerves, it can help heal it. So, or block, make it easier to deal with.
Is it supposed to help with the V2K, like lower the amount of V2K that you hear?
The device? It depends. I need to really think about it. There is some nerve itch points, believe it or not, that it might help with V2K. But I don't think it would be enough by itself, but it would make a difference in your movement. So it would make it easier to walk, for instance. You wouldn't have as much trouble walking. Because there is actually a point that I found on your back that if you apply energy to it, it can help make walking easier. But this device isn't really, I haven't really gotten approval for it yet. But I'm waiting. So if I get approval to produce it, then you know it might indirectly help with it, believe it or not, because V2K is very complicated. But yeah, it might help.
Got a question.
Does it help with like energy, but also insomnia, like blocking insomnia?
It's so hard to hear you. I'm so sorry.
Does it help block insomnia?
Oh, well, if you put it on your eyes, it actually might help, believe it or not. But I mean, insomnia is kind of strange. It has a lot to do with a lot of things. So it may help your body feel better, which might make it easier to sleep, but I can't be sure. It's like, I'll have to see, you know what I mean? I obviously have my first master's degree, I had to do research, and you have to check things, so I don't fully know yet, but it theoretically has a chance of helping.
Hi, can I ask a question here, DJ?
Yes, you can. Come on in. Go ahead. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. So the technology has enabled the perpetrator to see through our eyes. They know our passwords and user IDs. Does your development there, will that help? How can I? Go ahead.
I have a big issue with that because, I mean, I don't want to sound like, I don't agree with that being their most important source of information. The reason why is because we don't take in as much information as a camera or a computer or any of their new technology. So they may use it a little bit, but it's not nearly as good as like a powerful camera. unfortunately. I mean, there's a reason why that I kind of avoid talking about, but I promise you that's probably not their main source of information. I think, that's probably in the book to scare people, but as far as I know,
that's how I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's how they've been able to take a lot of our money.
I also have eyes. They see through my eyes too very well. Also, might want to add. Yeah, because that's how they do it. As espionage can be done remotely now. You could look into the eyes of the president and see what he's writing.
Well,
you do anything with DNA. Yeah.
Well, okay.
It's probably not a very clear signal, as Daniel's saying.
Well, let me just tell you why. Again, and I need to be a little careful because I wasn't going to say it, and I'm still not going to say it. But I'll just say very clearly, we take much, much less information than a computer by far, or by any camera by far, visually. At least, I mean, we kind of take the same amount of information, but if they're using an AI and they need to get something, I don't think we're the same as. I mean, if they want to get as much data as possible, I don't think we're the best. We're as good as, unfortunately, like there's see-through radar and stuff. I mean, they have radar that can see through walls. Even I don't know how long ago it was, but when that book came out, about apologies, my brain is like whatever. But that book about by John Hall, he talked about see-through radar being being able to see 300 feet through a wall. And now that it's so good, I mean, you're talking they can get massive amounts of information that completely dwarf eyesight of a human. You're talking about thousands of times more information per second than human eyes could ever get, by maybe millions, unfortunately. I don't really know, but they literally might be able to get millions of times more information per second without using your eyes. So I don't know if that really matters as much as people think it does, in my opinion.
Well, thank you for your opinion. Does anybody else have a question? Thank you for your question.
Yes.
Next person in line, please.
Excellent comment, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for saying this. They can't see through my eyes, and I know a lot of other TIs that can't see through their eyes. So I'm not in the category that says they can.
Okay. Well, I just think it doesn't matter. That's just my stance on it. It's just my personal opinion, but I don't know. I think technology has done so well that I really don't think that's their primary.
And they can't anyway see through mine, and other TIs out there we keep in touch with all the time. Yeah, but we do know on these calls that people think they can. I don't know. They'd have to prove. I know I have a test that I would prove it in person.
It's that they do. You're in a different program.
They don't. They can't see through my eyes, and they can't see through the others.
You are in a different program.
That's
right.
I do want to say something, guys. And whatever. I don't want to make this about anything. I don't a big thing right now, and I just hope you're all okay right now. So.
Let's move on if we can to the next question in line, please.
Hey there, it's Jax, and I wanted
Jax,
to say,
you're here. I've been wondering. We've been going back and forth on the telephone. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Come on in.
Well, I have had that bronchitis, and I also had a sinus infection, and I haven't had this condition for like 7 years, so it really knocked me for a loop. But I wanted to just say that it does seem like they can see through eyes, but it's the image that's refracted on the retina, and then it appears into the brain, and they read our mind. Keep in mind, they read our mind. They don't read our eyes. They read the image on our eyes that is sent to the brain. So that is the RAPE, RAPE, that's going on. It's the brain. What they're doing to our brains is pure evil. But anyway, I wanted to move along, Chris, and take your cue to not argue about it, because we can all agree to disagree. But I hate it when people come in and say, you're this and you're not in my thing. And, it's just dissension and negativity.
and we should learn how to disagree respectfully, and treat each other with respect instead of putting people in negative categories. And but if you read about it, even Robert Duncan said it's the image on the retina that
makes sense. That's what I was thinking too, but I didn't communicate it. That's perfect, Jax. That's what I think too. Yeah, it's all from the brain.
Yeah,
they're
tapping the brain, but the technology is remote neural monitoring.
But it's the brain neural monitoring. They have I've seen it in work. In the works, they have it. The machine, it's the Ravenclaw, and they sit there with their phone, and they can see our brain thoughts, and they're printed. The images come up. It's whatever they want. They program it to do, but they're not sitting there shooting radiation, right? Like reading through our eyes like a pair of glasses. That it's better anyway for them to read the brain, because not only do they see the image that we see, they see our thought process about the image, because three people can look at the same image and have a different perspective about it and see it in a different way.
That's right. That's like an art studio, yeah. Like an art museum, right?
Yeah. But HC, I mean, I really like HC's comments because she does make a lot of sense, and she does understand the targeting, and she's a former military. But I just want to move on because I wanted to comment about Daniel, the covert healer. I have hired Daniel before. I had a situation, and I was just talking to Daniel about it, and it was regarding my surgery, and I was having a lot of pain, and I was afraid to use the medication that the doctor had actually given me, and it was not a dangerous medication, but I should have taken it because it did work well. But I talked to Daniel, and Daniel said, Jax, I know about that medicine. Go talk to your doctor, because Daniel does not prescribe medication. But because I talked to Daniel and he alerted me that would most likely not harm me, so I did see my doctor, talked to my doctor, and she prescribed it right away. And it was a lifesaver for me for the targeting, because I have the Cyber Shield, and sometimes the Cyber Shield needs an update, and David is not available, so we might go through some symptoms at a higher level than normal. And so I would take a medication during that time. And it was the lifesaver for me. And I was like, oh, my God, Daniel, do you know? So I let Daniel know that it really helped. And I actually sent him a check because I was in so much gratitude for what he did. And then I had another situation, a life situation, and I talked to Daniel again. I hired him again, and he goes on a sliding scale. He's very reasonable with us. If you need help, don't be embarrassed to get help, because we all go through things in our life and we're not able to solve, and because of our personal blindness, we become blinded by our own thoughts, and we're not able to work through it. But when you get another person involved that's professional, and they help you to see that it's whatever you need to see. And that's why I just really want to encourage people. I am a friend of Daniel, but I'm also a patient, a customer, whatever I would think it's called, a patient, because he is a psychologist, and he has many avenues of perspective. He's trained in several disciplines, and you can talk to Daniel and feel like you're getting somewhere. And by the way, the quad heterodyne is the most used setting module I use. I use 4185 over 4200 on up, sometimes even 4199 over 4200 quad heterodyne, and that's the one that Daniel helped David work on and invented that. and I use that very much. So, he's talented in more than one discipline, and I encourage anybody, if you're having a situation or debating whether you should spend a lot of money on a certain thing regarding targeting or a type of shielding or something, talk to Daniel because it's worth the money to spend, say $50 or $100 versus $1,000 for something that might not do you any good. So anyway, that's what I wanted to let everyone know. If you're thinking about something you need to do or you want to discuss a personal problem, Daniel is a good source, and I think you'll be really happy with it. So anyway, thanks, Daniel, and thanks, DJ Chris.
Thank you, Jax, for that. Could you go ahead and give your contact information again, Daniel, and your website, your phone number and website, please, for the recording before we go to the book club?
Oh, sure. My phone number is 917-579-5036, and the website is coverthealer.com. And I just want to say I'm really grateful for all of you, and I know we all get mad sometimes, so I'm really thank you for thank you for us all getting through that. It sucks. I mean, you're all probably, some of you are stressed, some of you are angry, and yeah, just thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for, again, I don't know what I'm just grateful that I was able to be here and talk to Chris, so thanks so much.
No worries. Daniel can be found this Wednesday at his own call at tievents.org. Anyway, we're going to go over to the book club now. And the book club is my own book today. We're going to reimagine DJ Chris's book club collection. And I've written quite a few books, actually, over the last 4 years, and I'm working on a new one about Silicon Valley called Silicon Valley. Check it out on Substack. Here we go with TI Book Club time.
It's time for the TI Book Club, where every book opens a door to new worlds and shared journeys. Here, we uncover hidden gems, specially selected for TIs, and always within your reach. Be part of a community that reads together, grows together, and sees the world through the same lens. Don't just listen to stories, live them with us. Join now at bookclubs.com/TIBookClub/join, and let's turn the pages of adventure together.
Yes, today's book club is my own book, The Targeted Trilogy. I wrote it in 2022, and it was showcased in the TI Book Club, which you just got info on, and where we have 183 members, and it was rated at 8.9, and on Amazon it was rated 4. Basically, it's a book about my neighbors causing trouble, and then the fact that I'm getting these crazy dreams, and then all of a sudden the telepathy started in my father's house I was renting, and it just went crazy from there, and we had a helicopter above the roof. I talk about that and all sorts of other things, so if you want to throw me a bone, please buy my book. I appreciate it. The book club, of course, has other TI members with their own offerings, like TI Events. Tranquility has her own book, Meetup Mastery, so check that out too. Anyway, we are going to go to the next segment of our call, and that is the weekly update with our friend and helper and co-host of the call through the control of the board and making sure everything goes smooth. Here we go. And of course, don't forget our co-producer name in the chat room. Here we go with weekly update with Tranquility.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Week in TI Events, brought to you by TIEvents.org. It's an honor to be here on DJ Chris's Targeted West show, a space he's thoughtfully built to connect and uplift our community. So let's dive right in. Tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, right after the Targeted West show, is Laura Ann's Voice to Heart conference call, a go-to for TIs to connect, share, and support each other. So be sure to join in. On Monday, we have 2 events back-to-back. 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern, tune in to the PAX International Podcast with Derek Robinson. Special guest Ann Baker will discuss her upcoming rally during the January 20th, 2025 presidential inauguration in Washington, D.C. Then, at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, join Victory Through V2K, hosted by Targeted Justice's VP, Melody, with special guest Harmony, a dedicated volunteer with Targeted Justice. On Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, join Surviving Targeting with Gratitude and Science, hosted by licensed social worker Daniel Frankel, with special guest Frank S. from TargetedTechTalk.com, who will share tech tips for the targeted community. On Thursday, the Targeted Massachusetts conference call continues at its new time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Moderator Frank Allen will be back to lead another engaging and informative evening. As we move into Friday, be sure to tune in to DJ Chris's Thank God It's Friday conference call from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, a relaxed open mic space perfect for unwinding and connecting with others. Right after, don't miss Call for the Targeted, hosted by Louis Rowe. Expect engaging interviews, legislative updates, and practical advice to keep you informed. And be sure to join us next Sunday for another Targeted West show featuring Craig LaForest, an ICATOR board member and advocate against V2K technology, joining us all the way from Australia. Start time is 9 p.m. Eastern, so mark your calendars. A special thank you to DJ Chris for making space for these announcements on his show and for his unwavering commitment to our community. Besides running Targeted West, DJ Chris is also an author, bringing TI experiences to life in his Targeted Trilogy collection, available on Amazon.com. And for the latest insights and updates on targeted issues, subscribe to his Targeted West newsletter at substack.com/@TargetedWest and follow him on X at TI Club 3. Remember, TIEvents.org is your hub for TI events and petitions. Visit the petition section today to support several initiatives led by fellow TIs. Hosting an event? Email TIEvents@protonmail.com to feature it on our site and keep the community connected. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and a special thanks to DJ Chris for his continued support. For more details, visit TIEvents.org and sign up for email updates. Until next time, this is Tranquility, signing off and sending you all waves of positivity. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Well, thank you, Tranquility, for that. Well, that was awfully nice of you. It's, of course, now open mic, and we're going to go ahead and turn the recording off. Daniel may still be here to answer some more questions if you're lucky, so hold on, please.